Smeritas did. Happened to be there yesterday again. Age qualified things have a lot of nice characteristics. And
You mean 55 plus?
yeah. Are there any advantages to that? Have you kick the tires on that kind of model? I mean, I'm not saying this project, I'm saying in general, if you can speak, what's your
I don't know enough.
Okay.
But that's worthy of consideration.
It intrigues me because we're talking about people who can then really age in place, down, they can walk with it, right? Everybody in that project could walk here. This is the most walkable neighborhood.
Well, that's a good point. I'll actually, so not only does this add to our reduction in office space, it reduces demand on the parking system. So the parking load for residential is, 25-30% of that of office. So, while we don't control parking for this product, we're talking about 40 parking spaces versus 50,000 square feet, where we're talking like 100.
That's great. So, thanks.
I have a question. Tim, can you help me understand the math a little bit better? So there's an anticipated loss of revenue, but also a gain. Is there a net loss or gain to DDA?
Jared, you can maybe help out here, but so they're splitting the building in two, so there would be no change in that half that's staying as is and staying as office. On the residential component, they're proposing an NEZ, which would freeze the tax, the property tax for 15 years, I believe.
Yep, just on the residential.
There would be some increment that's thrown off slight on that, and then after the expiration of the NEZ, there would be revenue that comes to the DDA. What we're being requested to do is to pass through 90% of the revenue that would ultimately come to the DDA on the new residential piece to the brownfield for the duration of the plan.
Okay.
Correct.
Good. Yeah.
So you see the project cost. I mean, you net that out, that's $335,000 a unit. That does not.
That's what I'm saying, but after the plan expires, it's all you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The MEP,
But, no,
the MEP is nuts.
Yeah, not opposed, just curious.
Yeah, and then just to make sure it's clear, so once the brownfield plan is done, then all of the revenue would come back to the DDA. All the increment, I should say.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In 28 years.
Yep.
Everyone will be there
Yeah.
to enjoy that.
Yeah. And I think Sam said it, I think it was in the memo, but we view it also as just, the benefit that this would bring through new residents. But no, I appreciate the question.
Anything else, Mayor?
Yeah, thanks. I'll just add my thanks to Sam. I think you and I have had multiple conversations, and what I've always appreciated about you is that you have a optimistic mindset and you see challenges as opportunities after you get through this venting phase. But I also want to say I think this is the future of vibrant cities, right? We know that we need more mixed use, and we also know that we need more people living downtown. We have a goal to get there. The GR Forward plan does. This organization does, and this takes us closer to that. So I just want to say thank you for everything you do in the city, but also for seeing an opportunity where other people would probably walk away. So thanks.
I would entertain a motion to approve.
Support.
Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck.
Thank you.
Next is 443 Sheldon, similar request.
Yep, similar structured request, a little bit of a different area of town. We have Jess Solis and Bryce who will kind of walk us through this project, but just quick overview orientation for where we're talking about. This is Wealthy Street right here. This is Division. You might remember the Southgate senior living apartments that went up right here. So the area we're talking about for this project is this. This is Sheldon. This is Logan. Currently a vacant site. City Brownfield owns it. They took it over from the state Brownfield. Bryce saw the opportunity, stepped in. He's a new developer, so has a little bit of funding from the city's emerging developer program. And is proposing to deliver, I believe, 26 new units in this area of town. So with that, I'll turn it over to Bryce and then have some more time for Q&A. Yeah.
Quick question. Where is the DDA bounded in relation
The DDA boundary is right there. And that was through the 2016 expansion it was drawn in. Yep.
And it goes north of Sheldon, right?
Yes,
Little
yeah.
corner.
Yes, yes, this is the far southern end, and for reference, that's the downtown market as well. Yep. Good question. Bryce, all you, man, yeah.
I wanted to start off by saying thank you to everyone for taking the time to be here today and for considering our project. I know this is the first time many of you are hearing about this development, and in some cases the first time we've met. So what I'd like to do is share a bit about myself and give you a brief overview of what we've been working on. So I grew up here in Grand Rapids. I was born and raised and moved back shortly after graduating from Western Michigan University and took a role in the corporate world, as many of my classmates did. But early on in my career, I started to feel like something was missing. I wasn't quite fulfilled, and I kept coming back to this passion that I had for real estate. Now, that passion really began during my time at college when I worked as a leasing agent at the apartment complex I lived at. And I loved being a part of creating and maintaining someone's home, and I knew that one day I wanted to own and operate real estate myself. So after moving back, I started looking into the acquisition of different properties and quickly realized how expensive the market had become. Limited supply coupled with strong demand made traditional buying much more difficult, which led me to consider development as an alternative path to making an impact. Now, the first step in any good development is finding the right piece of land. And after many setbacks, I came across the Grand Rapids Land Bank and started to form a connection with Jess at her time at the city. She introduced me to the various programs available for emerging developers in Grand Rapids, and that connection, coupled with a lot of perseverance, is what really set this project in motion. Over the past year, I've fully immersed myself in everything I could learn development-related, built meaningful partnerships, and really started to shape this vision. Now, the result of that is our plan to transform a blighted parcel that has sat vacant for 25 years into a 3-story, 26-unit all-electric apartment complex built for modern comfort, sustainability, and accessibility. We're not just building housing, we're creating homes that'll serve a broad array of residents. We plan to incorporate 20% of the units income restricted, bike storage, solar readiness, and numerous other amenities that align with the city's goals for a long-term sustainable future. 2 weeks ago, we received approval from the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority for 25 years of tax increment revenue capture. In return, we plan on income restricting those 20% of units at 60% AMI for that same period. The remaining units will be market rate. Now we're at a critical point. To make sure this project is feasible, we're requesting a 75% pass-through of tax increment revenue. This support is essential to bridging the gap and ensuring this project moves forward. With it, we'll be able to take a vacant lot and transform it into a community asset that provides housing, economic activity, and long-term value to this neighborhood. Now, I'm joined today by my now consultant on the project, Jess, and the two of us are happy to answer any questions you may have, but I just want to say thank you again for your time and consideration.
Any questions on this project? Yes.
How do you see people biking downtown looking at that route? I'm running stuck. I wouldn't go down Division. Sheldon doesn't have any bike lanes that I know of. Have you thought about that? And you said you got bike storage. Have you thought about connectivity to downtown other than by foot? You can obviously walk downtown, but...
Correct. Yeah, so we do have bike storage. I would imagine Division is probably the best route.
Division's a suicide opportunity.
Island is another one. You could, there are some spots you can connect to Sheldon, otherwise, you have to take Jefferson, which are a little over traffic.
Yeah, I'm just, this is me trying to figure out how to help you have happy residents. So my long-term question is gonna be, how do I get good bike connectivity from your place downtown core? So I didn't expect you to have an answer, but I wondered if you did, because I don't. Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you for bringing that up.
Any other questions? All right,
Move adoption.
all right, thank you. Any other comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
And thanks for coming back to Grand Rapids.
Yes.
Congrats.
All right, next is DDA liquor license request. 107, 111 Division Avenue.
An elevator and there was a.
Mr. Elledge.
Good morning, everybody. New residents coming downtown, they're going to need a place to go to get something to drink, so that's why I'm here. So first, got 2 liquor license requests today. First, talking about the one at 107 through 111 South Division, called GR Game Bar LLC, sort of a barcade concept. Owners there are looking to make significant investments in the building that will include renovation of the kitchen, bar equipment, bathrooms, and overall lighting of the project. I have the owners here to come talk to you all about that project. So come on up, guys.
Good morning, everyone. Can we hear me? Okay, awesome. Good morning. Thank you very much for having us and allowing us a chance to kind of come through and give you some more information about this project. So my name is Chris Tower. I'm an attorney from the East Side that's been working with Brent Fisher and Chris Ake here. Also, another one of the applicant members is Nick Lovelace, who cannot make it, but we have these 2 wonderful gentlemen and businessmen here joining me to kind of answer any operational questions you might have. But I'm just the attorney representing them on the liquor licensing matters. So as Melvin said, this will be a barcade concept. I think it's really interesting because it also has a little bit of an active component. We'll have, bag toss, other kind of more active games and things of that nature. They will have a full food, menu, full bar menu. A little bit about this type of liquor license is it's a Downtown Development Authority liquor license. So to be able to qualify, we have to have 25 plus seats, need to be engaged in dining, entertainment, or recreation, and we need to spend more than $75,000 in expenditure on rehabilitation of the building prior to issuance of the license. We meet all 3 of those requirements. Like I said, full food, full bar. They're going to have in this space, capacity for roughly 300 people, depending on the city's numbers once we get to that point. And we will be expending more than $75,000. So on all of those statutory requirements, we meet those. So if you guys have any questions at all, and here's Brent to add a little bit.
Yeah. So we're really excited to bring some new hospitality to Hartside area. It's a little challenging area, but I think now's the time to get some new energy, some movements going on there. And with the Elite District side, we're having like a kitchen there, so it'll be private dining and doing events too, because I think by throwing events there, we'll bring more people there. And the area is so charming over there, right? It's just old, historic. So we hope by doing new hospitality there, bring some more energy to that area. So we're excited to do this project.
So thank you. This is great. It's one of the areas I've been worried about.
Yeah.
So really, really thank you. Please, can you, as you move forward on this, if there's things you need from the city, get a hold of us, because I think this is, like I said, I've been a little worried about this area. I would love to slow down traffic on Division for you. If we can figure out how to do that, I think that's a key component to this. But bridging, getting energy south of Fulton is absolutely critical. So keep thinking about things we might do to help you make this win.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we need a motion to approve.
Support.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, and we have a second request here for 115 through 117 Division Avenue South. So same ownership group, looking to open the Elite District LLC. This will be a little bit more of a traditional concept, so sit-down dining. They'll be making, again, significant investments in both new equipment, fixtures, improvements to the building, and other renovations. And I'm going to pass it back to these guys to talk a little bit more about Elite District.
Thank you, Mayor. There's good news. We'll be adding another project to this part of the city. Just on the liquor licensing side, again, this concept and this project does meet all the requirements for the DEA liquor license. reason we're getting 2 licenses or requesting 2 licenses here is because there is no, connection between the 2 buildings. So they're going to be 2 separate businesses. So that's the reason why we are up here again so shortly. This concept, Elite District, is going to be a high-end cocktail lounge and a full-service restaurant. So, 5-course meals, really fantastic ideas from this group. So, hopefully, a couple of contrasting concepts that will bring traffic more that way.
Yeah, and well, thank you for that and the support. But like Sam said, getting a project, and we honestly took over the Harris and the other ones, and we thought it'd be easy, and we're like, oh, we'll get tenants, and this is fun. And it was like a year and a half later, and we're like, uh-oh, we got to figure something out. So, so we got together as ownership. I've been in Grand Rapids since 2011, and I stayed here. I've been a business owner since 2012. Started a company called Grand Apps, built that up, and I love business and entrepreneurship and solving problems. And this one has been the biggest one, and we just kind of got together and said, hey, we're just going to do it ourselves. We saw Rockwell shutting down, and we know a lot of the restaurateurs, and it seems kind of risky, but to us it seems obvious, and it seems like a change that's happening in the city, and we want to be a part of that change. So that's what we're doing here, and we hope you guys approve it, and we want to get rocking and rolling, and hopefully bring some traffic down on South Division and all the retail shops and support it. So thank you.
Any questions? Yes.
I don't mean this as the softball it might sound like, but you're literally tripling down on your investment in that neighborhood. Can you unpack the opportunity that you see, or why you're willing to take that risk? Because this is, to the mayor's point, this is a challenged stretch. And you guys are putting it all in.
Yeah. So we have a really cool floor on the second floor of the Harris, and it's a tenant. It's a wedding venue. So they have about 50 to 60 weddings per year, and the average guest count's about 150. On top of that, we have mixed use, so we do have residential, and we do have plans for, in the future, I don't want to say much right now, but making it more of a mixed use. So we think this is like a phase 1 approach. We also do have a gym that's going to be a tenant going in the basement. And so for us, it was, how do we activate the main 3 areas? And it is kind of tripling down, which we thought of too. And we had more ideas, and we kind of reeled them back because, we were going a little too far into it. So we do have bigger plans in the future for it. This is like a phase 1 to kind of get us through, right, to like a break even. And then we do want to incorporate more residential and different plans in the future. So it's more of a phased approach with it. But yeah, I can definitely see that. And we thought so too. We're going pretty far in hospitality. But I think for this first phase, it'll be successful, and it'll get us to where we need to go.
I think you kind of see what happened on Bridge Street, right? They put all this hospitality in there and just exploded, right? So we're hoping by bringing more people into this area through hospitality events and hey, it's actually a nice area. It changed a lot in the last couple of years. So we hope by bringing people there, people come downtown for entertainment, right, with the amphitheater going in. So we hope that people come here for different events, great cocktails and event-driven food. People are like, hey, it's a really great area. So we're really hoping to do that. We're going to do health and wellness too in the gym, he said. So a little mixture of everything, bring more people over there. So any support from you guys would be really helpful for this because it is a big building. So we were talking about a grocery store there before, so they could look at that again. But thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I need a motion to approve.
Support.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we're back on wayfinding.
Wayfinding. Wayfinding or trees, you never know. So we're here to talk about wayfinding. So we've been working on wayfinding for a few years, and I'm happy to report that phases A, B, C, and D are all done. And phases E and F are wrapping up pretty quickly. We have just a few physical components left of phases E and F to get out in the field, but that should be wrapped, fingers crossed, before Art Prize. Otherwise, if not, we'll pause during the Art Prize festivities, and then we'll finish everything up in October. So now that we're kind of finishing up the physical aspect of the wayfinding component, we're trying to shift gears and focus on the digital aspect of the wayfinding component. If you'll remember that this was also a goal of the wayfinding project, was not to only update the existing elements to something that was much more pedestrian friendly and user friendly and just bright and different. We also wanted to introduce digital elements into the downtown, as that is sort of the direction that wayfinding is going. So to that end, we built 6 kiosks, knowing that they would be at some point converted into digital kiosks, and those locations, because I'm sure you're going to ask, I had to write them down so I wouldn't forget, are at Calder Plaza, Ottawa and Fulton, Monroe Center, Monroe Avenue across from the Convention Center, at the corner of Lyon and Monroe, and then at the corner of Monroe Center, Pearl and Monroe Avenue, and then at the corner of Monroe Center and Division. We built and installed those kiosks so that we could later convert them to digital, and I'm happy to announce that we have kind of gotten everything lined up to be able to do that. So we're proposing to work with Blue Water, who's a local tech company who kind of helped us spec out the original hardware that we were going to put into these cabinets, these kiosks that we built. They gave us a great contract, so we have a 4-year service contract with them in addition to the work that they'll do to actually digitize our kiosks, and then we have a 1-year warranty on all of the hardware that's going into these kiosks throughout the city. We'll be porting over the new visitor website that we're currently developing. So a sort of isolated island version of that will exist in the kiosks so that you can't use our kiosks to navigate anywhere in the web, because that will be problematic. I'm happy to report that that website is kind of going through final edits and revisions right now and should be ready to launch in about a month or so, which is great. So the timing for all of this kind of works. I'm happy to answer any questions, but the request before you today is for an amount not to exceed $68,834.64 to purchase the hardware and the service for converting our static kiosks into digital. All of this was budgeted in the fiscal year wayfinding line item.
All right. We're getting hard set. DGRI. Any questions? Yeah, exactly. All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Support.
All right, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
Morning. I'm just going to speak very briefly about this because we've got our collaborators from Disability Advocates of Kent County here to go through a brief presentation. Essentially, what, as the memo suggests, we've been collaborating with these folks for about 5 years, really to implement a lot of the goals that were in GR Forward. There's 3 specifically listed in the memo about making the downtown more accessible. And so Disability Advocates has been working with us. They've implemented a series of test pilots who go around the city and look at accessibility and routes and, you know, how they might park, how they might get from parking to a facility. They've acted as an accessibility consultant on all of our projects, whether that's via a direct connection with the consultants that we've hired or whether that's through just working with us on the project. And that consultancy isn't just at the design level, it's also looking at the project after it's been built to begin to learn some things about maybe doing things better, learning from the things that we've built. So ultimately, that has led to what we refer to as an accessibility navigator. There's a few pages in your packet that show what that is. There's a little bit more information about that I think that they're going to talk about in their presentation. But ultimately, what this is a continuation, is a request or a recommendation to continue our relationship with them for the next fiscal year. And that the recommendation is to authorize funding for an amount not to exceed $50,000 for fiscal year 26. And that was outlined in our budget in Goal 3, Accessibility and Mobility, in fiscal year 26. So we did anticipate this as part of our budgeting cycle for the fiscal year. So with that, I'm going to ask Michael Williams from Disability Advocates to come up, and he's got a brief presentation for you to outline some of what they've done and what they plan to do.
All right. Can everybody hear me okay? So there's three main components to what we've been doing over the past few years. And then I'm going to get into what our vision kind of is for how to expand upon the work we're doing. Because at this point, we're getting to a complete-ish review of everything that currently exists downtown. So what do we do with that information? So the three sections are the built environment. Those are those consultations that Mark mentioned. The cultural environment, so those are our test pilots. Those are people with various disabilities that go along with us to different events, attractions, and we go through the user experience and work with event coordinators to improve those spaces. And then the user experience of individual spaces through creating a user-lensed accessibility navigator document. So Kim Davey over here is our project manager. I think you've all met Jackson before. He does all of our accessibility consultation. And then I've stepped in this year really on how we're going to move forward from what we have. So this is looking at the past year. We consulted on 55 different new build or remodels in the DDA area. We worked with 46 test pilots on 21 different outings. Covering multiple, that's supposed to be 13 events and 8 attractions. And then the Access Navigator. This is really the highlight of where I think the future of this project goes. So we currently have a list of 363 venues. 313 of them were new to us this past year. 240 of those are complete and up to date. Some of those were new this year. Some of them were updated from, I think the copies you have in your packet were from last year, actually. So we've updated all of those. And then there are some gaps in there. Some of the businesses we've done have closed. Some businesses have denied us, and that's a challenge we're working to overcome. And then some businesses have really late hours, and that's really difficult for us, and we're going to work on that more this year. So some of the big projects we've worked on for consultation, the ones you might expect, we did include the airport. That's a major means of connection to our region, and the sensory room they have there is really cool. You should check it out. The cultural environment over the past year, we worked with 46 test pilots with a wide range of mobility, auditory, visual, and other sensory barriers. We went to multiple events, Return to the River, World of Winter, Art Prize, the Hispanic Festival. And then we did some reviews with our test pilots of key attractions in the area. How to navigate the bus station, visiting the museums, visiting the Y, and Hartside Park, which we've had a lot of discussions about lately. So here's the real highlight of what we've done in the Access Navigators. So first and foremost, the old versions of the documents were not actually screen reader accessible. That's a major problem for anything coming out of work that we do. When we tried to digitize it, make it online, that's where we ran into the problem. So we've made some modifications to all of the old ones and all the new ones that are highlighted here. And then the big thing is we now have a maintained library of 231 current venues and attractions downtown. And so as you can see, we've already started matching it with DGRI's business district and neighborhood identifiers, as well as starting to put different business types. This is the beginning of a Access Navigator tool, which is the new piece we want to talk about this year. So not much is going to change for the year ahead for Built and Cultural. We want to work a little bit more on working with our event coordinators on the things we found over the past few years, to be a bit more proactive in their planning and just establishing a standards of practice. But otherwise, this looks the same as it has for 4 years now. Here, we want to find the gaps in the documents figure out what those businesses are and finish the downtown area. We want to add nearby transit connections. We want to finish those lists of key indicators such as neighborhood, business district, business type, etc. And then we want to do some cross-linking of adjacent businesses. So using those neighborhood identifiers or identifying the building that these businesses share, making sure that those shared businesses are all in the same space. And then this is that big piece that we really want to implement this year. Now that we have a complete library of all these documents on its way, how do we host this? How do we share this with our community? So we've been working with our developers, our web developer, on creating a tool. And that tool will be, the outcome of that tool is an embeddable piece that any one of our partners, DGRI, Experience GR, right on down the line, can just put on their website, just like you would embed a Google search on your website. Really simple to take, and that'll link you to our tool and all these documents. We plan to, by the end of the year, launch a pilot period with DGRI on hosting that, and maybe the city or the county or anybody that wants to help with piloting this, getting this information out there. But we think there's a lot of opportunity now that this is complete. And then the other piece of this year is, now that it is getting complete, what do we do beyond Grand Rapids? We've set a standard here, so we're going to focus on finding more funding outside the city to expand this tool and make it more useful to the region. From there, I'm available for any questions. Jackson and Kim also have a lot of information that I don't, so glad to answer any questions.
Yeah, have you thought about, so a lot of this is obviously all sort of web slanted. Have you thought about targeted signage? What I'm thinking about here is I just had an interesting conversation with advocates for adult changing stations. You really want to know where those are. And if you go to a big venue, you really want a sign that tells you where those are and whether they have them. You don't want to wander in the art museum, find out it doesn't have one, and spend 15 minutes knocking around the building looking for something that doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, so those key identifiers I mentioned, we have a full inventory of all the venues we've done, where who has these stations. Maybe where in the building hasn't been mapped out quite as well, but it's in the document. So you'll at least be able to search venues that have changing stations or have a certain other type of amenity you might need.
What I'm asking is, have you thought about doing actual physical signage that you could provide to folks for things like that? I'm not web driven. I mean, if I'm at the museum and I don't have great access,
sure,
it's just a lot of work to get into. If you're disabled, it's potentially a lot of work to get into a website, sure, in the moment. Like, hard signage beats anything in terms of ease of giving information.
Sure. I think working with some of the venues that we've already established a relationship with to share this in a more hard copy format, especially for the local area, could be something we could be looking at. I don't think it's something we've really discussed, but I think it's a great point.
Thanks.
Any other comments or questions? All right. Do I have a motion to approve? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next is Executive Director report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll go relatively quickly so we can get to the end of the meeting here. I know a few of you have a hard stop at 10. First up, GR Forward RFQs went out in August, closed at the end of August. We got 14 consultant teams that responded. And so we're putting together our selection committee and then full steering committee. If anyone wants to comb through the 14 proposals, we would love to have a volunteer from the DDA board. I will tell you, we did put a limit on the number of pages in the responses, so I think we limited them to 12. So still a bit of reading, but we would love to have someone participate. I won't put anyone on the spot now. Think about it as you leave, and we'll follow up with you after the fact. But we're excited to get this process up and moving. Few of us helped to break ground on the East Riverfront a few weeks back. This, of course, is the trail and park space connection on the riverside adjacent to the amphitheater. So that work is underway and on schedule to be done by the time the amphitheater opens next May. Wanted to also highlight that the Oxford Trail went out to bid and is set to have their groundbreaking at the end of this month. So that just went out. I think it's scheduled for September 30 at 5 p.m. So look for a more formal invite to come join us for that celebration. Lion Square, of course, still done, being well used, which is great to see this time of year. We are going to have an official opening on this, or at least ribbon cutting celebration, October 2nd. So we have a hold on the calendar. Those invites will go out yet this week. So hope you can join us. That'll be, if you're tracking along, toward the end of Art Prize. But we will have a little celebration to celebrate all the work that went into doing that. On this one, I did also want to point out Gillette Bridge is now done as well, so you can finally go through Calder, cross the river. So just in time for Art Prize. And then on the event side of things, last Relax at Rosa is this Thursday. We've had a great summer series. Team has been wonderful. I don't think any of them are here because they're probably getting ready to set up. James, sorry. It's okay. Don't want to miss you, man. But the team has been great. Turnout has been really good as well. Return to the River was a huge success. I know a few of you were down for that. We will do more formal report out on that a little bit later, but weather was great. Turnout was wonderful. Just really great to see all those people down on the riverfront at the end of summer. And then mentioned it a couple times, but Art Prize about a week away. So looking forward to having a busy downtown over the next few weeks. That's all I got.
Any questions for Tim? Mayor?
Not a question, but it seems to me, I literally said something about every item. I just want to bang the drum again. All of the drawings and activation things I'm seeing for river connectivity, I've said this to you before, Tim, but I think two central points. One is I was glad to see in one of those drawings like a playground set. When I see architects' drawings that have people just sort of gazing adoringly at the river, I get really nervous. So things that people can actually do. But then I think the next great leap forward, which I've seen zero planning on from anybody on this, is getting into the river. So I want the river to look like the Charles in 10 years. I don't want it to look like Plaster Creek. What that means, we can go into it, but I mean, one simple, easy thing is actual storage lockers for boats. Because getting to the river, biking along it, that's all great. That's going to be a large percentage of the activity. But again, what I think about, I'm gunning for Boston on every axis because it's the city I want to beat. But I want to beat it on, I at least want to start matching it on river use, and that doesn't mean gazing adoringly at it. But there's no, I want to be able to kayak in there in my lunch hour, to put it briefly. I bought a really cool kayak, but I'm not going to go home and get it on my lunch hour and take it down to use it at lunch. Even in Lansing, even in lowly Lansing, you can actually kayak on the river because there are ways to get a kayak that's already on the river and then go use it. And rental is not, think great places that really activate their waterfront have places to leave your watercraft on the river and walk away from it. And personal ownership is going to make people they're going to own the river in a completely different way if they've got a storage locker that they can put something in than if they can go rent something. That'll be theoretically something they'll do, just like there are a million things I theoretically do. But the things that I really do in my life are the things that are really, really easy for me to do. So making it really easy for people to use the river is, I think, our next challenge. So if you've got RFPs in, I would urge all of us to think about how do we get people wet, to put it crudely, actually in the river. And all of our work on getting rid of those dams, we get rid of those dams. It's going to be great for the 5 dedicated yuppies who want to do all that, put their stuff on the roof and come on down and use a boat launch. But to make it look like the Charles, we're going to have like watercraft actually on the river and places for those to be. So there's my rant. I can't say it often enough because I think that now is the time to start planning for that before we take the dams out.
Just what's wrong with us, yuppies? Staying away from that.
I got a kayak. I'll lend you. I got 7. So anybody who wants to come kayaking with me,
It's a large, or that's a small fleet. I know that the Whitewater team has heard the same and they're thinking about it. And then we're happy to follow up and just show you some of the areas where there are access points being designed and up and down the riverfront because there are a lot of spots.
I mean, there are access points. But
Sure.
my point is,
Yep.
I want to leave my boat there.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Chair, can I ask
Yes.
a question? Tiff, and I know you and I emailed about this, but I think it'd be good for everyone to know. Can you give us a quick update on where we are with the bids for Leonard to Ann? I know there was an issue. We were waiting with MDOT and the city. I'm still nervous for not hitting the mark on timeline with that project to use the ARPA funds. And then secondly, Van Andel alleyway, we've talked about it at least 4 or 5 years. Every time I walk by it, it looks worse. I know we have a plan. There's new ownership. We had issues with the city, with the engineering department. Can you just give an update verbally or maybe in writing?
Happy to do both. Just quick updates on both. Leonard and we do still expect to be out to bid this calendar year, potentially starting later this year. We are pushing to make sure that we are able to get the ARPA money out the door to go toward it. And I'll look at Catherine to see if I'm misstating anything there, but yeah, we're still on schedule to be out to bid. And then Van Andel Alley, Mark and I talked about this yesterday. We will bring a update to the board either October, November, depending. We've had to do a bit of redesign for the issue that you identified with the city on the easements, and then there have been a change in ownership and businesses since the original design was done. So some tweaks to the overall design, still intending to move forward. Our plan is to wrap up end of this year on design with an eye toward getting into construction next year. But I'll send you more detail via email, and then happy to have a follow-up if anyone has questions after that.
Thank you.
We're way ahead of that.
All right. Next is public comment. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to make a statement, now is your opportunity. Seeing none, we'll go on to board discussion.
Would be so happy about wayfinding digitization.
Any comments? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Any comments for the greater good? All right. Next is,
Okay, I would like to make a motion that the board go into closed session under Section 8(1)H of the Open Meetings Act to consider material exempt from discussion or disclosure by state or federal statute, a written legal opinion.
Support.
Yeah, so then
We need a
Roll call.
roll call?
We need a roll call vote.
Yes.